Illuminated by numerous torches, Turul's magnificent torso stood starkly outlined against the darkness. His well-defined muscles visibly strained and pronounced, under the load of the extraordinary weights. Yet, this exceptional physique, a prime specimen of masculinity, was reduced merely to the status of a laboring slave. A torch in Roka's hand approached, the flame flickering like a serpent's tongue, close to the bulging biceps. As the fire drew near, the muscles tightened and solidified, resembling sculpted bronze. A faint sizzling sound underscored the distressing heat's effect. The intended provocation served as a grim prelude to the harsh next step he had hinted at earlier.
Tamas, sear him like I seared you.
The cruel tormentor barked. The torch in his hand shifted, casting an ominous glow on the object held by his hulking servant. With its end glowing fiercely, the red-hot branding iron was firmly grasped in Tamas's hand. He held it close, allowing the young captive a clear view of the symbol King Rossz had chosen to mark his slaves as a sign of ownership and control. In the giant's clumsy handling, the searing implement came dangerously close to Turul's face. Instinctively, he jerked his head away to evade the blistering heat, only to find the torch in Roka's hand, menacingly close on the other side. This was no accident, but a deliberate torment crafted by the seasoned slave master to unnerve him further. Tamas raised his hands high, the branding iron suspended aloft, then lowered it slowly towards the tensed, bulging biceps. He held the iron just shy of the skin, deliberately pausing before contact. This hesitation was not of his own volition, but a directive from Roka, performed with the eagerness of a child handling a favored toy. In cruel synchrony, the brutal overseer thrust the torch close to the captive's face, denying any chance of retreat from the impending agony. The red-hot iron followed, pressed firmly against its intended target, releasing a sickening hiss as burning metal scorched tense flesh. A coarse, suppressed grunt ripped from between gritted teeth, as the young rebel battled fiercely to withstand the burning torment. A harsher grunt escaped the captive's throat, as Roka's torch swept away from his face to reveal the fresh brand. The once mighty biceps, still solid beneath the agony, twitched violently, where the iron had scorched its mark. The burned flesh, raw and blistered, bore an unmistakable symbol not meant to fade, but to chain him permanently into subjugation. The bitter stench of his own seared flesh filled Turul's nostrils, a cruel breath he could not deny, forcing him to confront the grim reality of his fate. The manacled hero's head jerked sharply toward his opposite biceps, as the sudden heat of the branding iron crept near. In that split second of distraction, his strained arms sagged beneath the crushing load, driving the cruel spikes deeper into the raw, torn flesh of his shoulders. A grunt ripped. Louder, harsher, stripped of control. The trap was cruelly effective. Layered torments, designed to shatter his focus, denying him even the fighter's instinct to brace and endure. But as the branding iron and cruel spikes bore down on him together, no grunt escaped the rebel's lips. He let the barbed points sink deep into raw flesh without resistance, meeting the agony as a warrior facing an overwhelming charge, trusting in the one strength he still commanded: endurance. Only the sickening hiss of searing flesh filled the air, joined by the ragged breath, as the cruel convergence of torments took its toll. Both biceps now bore the scorched mark of servitude, the cruel sigil branded deep into the straining flesh. His broad shoulders sagged under the crushing burden of the spiked beam, the vicious points biting mercilessly into raw, wounded skin. His head hung slightly forward, from the sheer weight of pain and exhaustion. Under the wavering torchlight held aloft by the cruel master, the young rebel's condition was laid bare. A monument of strength battered, a captive forged in the fires of torment. The slave master thrust his arm forward, pushing the torch close to the raw, branded flesh. He spat in a low, cruel mutter.
"Them marks will remind you. Beast bound for the king's labor. Fare all your cursed life."
Slowly, Turul lifted his head, his eyes burning with undimmed defiance. His branded biceps tensed proudly, muscles straining against the oppressive weight and bonds. His gaze, sharp and unwavering, locked onto his tormentor. With a voice steady as stone, he uttered a single word. Low, cold, and unbreakable.
"Never."
For a long moment, silence hung heavy between the two, as if the torchlight itself dared not flicker. In that stillness, it was not the image of a bound slave confronting his master, but two opponents locked in a battle of will. Though one wore chains and bore seared flesh, no superiority could indeed be claimed. Finally, a slow, wicked smile curled across Roka's face. He leaned in slightly, his voice thick with menace.
"Ha ha. Don't be spouting brave words yet."
He jeered.
"Not for I said Tamas. To plant that iron, right in your friend's eyes."